before we bring in a marketing person, I want to at least have a baseline that we've done of like, this is what we can do without CMO. Yeah. If CMO comes in and can't outperform what we all did, they're gone. So there's three main reasons why we decided to make a documentary, or why the idea sort of popped in my head. For me, part of it was like, pulling back the curtain around what it's like to do a startup, because it's not for everybody. It's really tough, and you kind of have to develop a thick skin to be able to weather those storms. The credits at the end of the game that everyone scrolls through or skips, like those are all the people who really care about making sure you have fun playing. And so the ability to sort of peek behind the curtain and see all that, I think can be really powerful, just to humanize the way games are made. There's something really beautiful about when people align around a common goal, and can put that goal of like, we're all working on something together and this is what we're trying to achieve. And if we have different of opinions or different perspectives, we're gonna talk through that and figure out how best to serve that goal. So I think I'm trying to hope that like that sort of message comes through, that like aligning to a goal is when magic happens.
Yeah, it was like the initial draft stuff. So yeah, this is the first drawing of the Unsent department. This was a general postmaster's office, which was originally going to be like a bubblegum machine that was like on top of a filing cabinet. That was like a big glass dome, but we changed that for space reasons. But yeah, so there's like pneumatic tubes, doors, and giant filing cabinets, which was pretty close to what we got. So that's about it.
It's one of the only times that Brian actually put something down on a piece of paper that can visually represent what he was thinking.
Yeah, normally I just kind of keep it all up here.
But hey, but then it gets modeled, so that's all.
That's true. That's true.
How many monthly, or maybe not? Okay, so are you going to be opening the game for beta?
No.
We are going to be launching a demo on Steam on August 1st, which will be
Essentially beta.
Yeah, it will be the newest build with everything that is going to be in the final product.
So playable demo version on Steam. And how many people have Steam wishlist so far?
420.
420. How much of the game can you play from the beta?
Around 45 minutes.
But how much of the total map?
You can play the Unsent department. That's it.
So 25%.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, 25% of the game. With are there going to be live once you release the game for real? Is there going to be live updates and stuff?
We are anticipating that we will have to do live updates for bug fixing on launch.
But adding content, how often are you going to add new maps and stuff?
There's a level that has been spec'd out and at a high level that we are cutting for release that we could potentially roll into a DLC.
Potentially, but right now the overarching goal is to work on Game 2 after Game 1 release.
So this is just going to be like a Mario where it's a fixed size game.
Yeah, correct. So the goal is to get this game out of the door.
Yep.
The architecture that I was thinking of is the town hall, I think, the city hall for Boston. People are angry that it exists, but I think it looks cool. It has this very strange look to it of these brutalist protrusions coming out of it. I think it's very cool. This is where I showed the art style. So you'd normally have a filing cabinet that's completely straight and normal. But then the rules for the art team is that they have to take the knife tool in Maya and chop lines through it and then move it around a little bit so it's not symmetrical, because we want to have as few straight lines in the game as possible and have like a asymmetry everywhere.
The merging process between us and Slimeware was, I don't want to say it was challenging because they're going to watch this and I don't want them to hate me, but there was, I'll freely admit, there was a lack of trust on all sides at first. So maybe to answer that question a different way, in order for us to begin to develop a working relationship, we had to learn how to trust each other. So to get there, we had to sign some agreements and start doing some work. So when we first started meeting with the Slimeware team and trading concepts, and even when we first signed our agreements and incorporated there, we were dancing around the question of what our like company egos would look like. Meaning we had a corporate brand around Red Rabbit, they had a corporate brand around Slimeware and Unsent, and we had to. It took us a few weeks to really finalize what that all looked like, because at first when we were signing the documents, we didn't know each other or trust each other. This industry is famous for these kinds of investor deals either being duplicitous or predatory or simply exploding, and all of us were worried about that. We all had this big question mark of what if these guys on the other side of the table decide to f us.
Okay, so back to the high-level plan, because I'm trying to focus on grand strategy and not tactics. The goal of this phase is to find enough players to have the marketing become self-sustaining on having players invite their friends, chat in the Discord with the developer involvement, and so on. I'm going to delete the last sentence because it doesn't matter for our company. So beta phase. So once there's enough players interested in the game, so that would be a goal. Like our goal would be to have, when is launch?
October 20th.
That is tight.
Mm-hmm.
That is absolutely tight.
Why do you think we brought on multiple marketing people to help?
I'm kind of concerned that like we have like a rigid launch for like Kickstarter, and I expressed these concerns at the interview that like we have a rigid launch date for the Kickstarter, we have a rigid launch date for like the game. It's like it's hard because like other game companies, not just Rose Tinted Games, they will wait until we have like this many people who wishlist it on Steam and Amazon. You know?
Yeah.
We don't have to do a Kickstarter.
We should do a Kickstarter, but I'm really, really concerned about a day that's like 10 days away.
Yep.
I see that, yeah.
What's the status on the video?
We have not worked on that yet.
Right, so we don't even have a video yet.
A few moments later.
Hi. Yeah, you can come in.
Please come in.
Do you want to bring your computer?
I figured you guys will take notes.
Oh, cool. Because we're just doing the Kickstarter video idea,
I need to move the camera a little bit.
which is basically just going to be similar to...
I saw that. I love how kawaii it is.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to make it as kawaii, but it's very similar in terms of its mail.
We can make it a little bit kawaii.
If you want to make kawaii assets for it, hell yeah. We just don't have a lot of...
We can get Matt Monahan to do it.
Alex made a comment to me that I asked him if he had shared some of his feedback with Madeline. He said that he hadn't because he's found her sort of too much, was his answer, too much. So that's something that we've got to work on, is to get Soup and Madeline able to talk to each other so that they can give each other that feedback.
Yeah, I think last week was like, she kept saying like, I'm drinking from the fire hose. I'm like, yeah, that's the way it should be. But like, I understand if that's overwhelming and difficult. And like, I think, we gotta get one-on-ones with her too, so that we can help her prioritize, because she's being pulled in obviously many different directions.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting, even with like the PAX West talk of like, well, look, like, you can be in charge of how we market the game.
Yeah.
Like, and if it's too much for you to also figure out how to market the business, like we can handle some of that. But yeah, we're asking her to do a lot.
I am impressed, and I've been trying to tell her this. She had, even with all the shit that we're dumping on her plate, she's bringing good structures and systems from previous experience. So she's been remarkably prepared
Yeah.
I thought in her, especially in her first week. So I hope she gets.
Yeah, I like rarely give positive feedback, and on like Thursday or Friday, I like message her. I'm like, "You're doing a really great job. Like, we put you in a really tough position,
Yeah.
and you're like running around like a chicken with your head cut off, but you're running. Like, you didn't just lay down and die."
This is my first time in an upper management role. This is my first time being a VP. When I'm in the office and leading meetings and taking a leadership role, I try to act assertively. I try to copy what I saw at my old companies, like the executives and the directors, how they act. So I'm not sure. It's interesting. It's different because my last company was a defense company. So I'm not sure if this approach is going to work for a creative. I don't know.